there with the value. And so obviously, if you're getting people to a point where they're having sticker shock, what does that tell you when they have sticker shock? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when those people go, wow, that's really high?
I mean, me personally, that they just can't afford it, or they don't understand what it actually is that they're doing.
Okay, so here's what I would tell you. When I hear somebody go, wow, that price is really high, I go, wow, I just got a sale. They're obviously super interested. So the only people that object to price are people that are interested. Why is that?
I repeat that again?
So the only people that object to the price are the people that are super interested. Why would you suppose that is?
Well, they're asking questions. So, I mean, most people, like when I go back to, like we talked about last time, when I asked them, you know, if this was $1, would you do it today? And they were like, yeah. So, again, I mean, the value is coming across, and they understand they need it and they want it.
So just simplify this and just listen to the question, okay? The only people that object to price are the people that are super interested in buying. Why? Why would somebody object to the price? So I'll tell you. The only people that object to price are people that are super interested in buying. And the reason why is because if you have no interest in buying, you don't care how much it costs. So a lot of this is mindset. A lot of it is this spring-loaded behavior. And the problem is when you run a lot of demos without much success, you start becoming a product of your failures. And what that means is that you expect not to succeed because your level of not selling so far outweighs your level of selling that your expectations are, I'm probably not going to sell this. And they probably can't be any other way. If you base your future on your past experiences, then you already know what your future is going to be. So to change that, you have to change your future and see yourself before you walk into every door as closing the deal so that your present becomes your future thoughts instead of your present becoming a reflection of your past. So you have to change your attitude, and when somebody says, wow, that price is really high, there's a couple ways you can handle that. What do you say to them when they say, wow, Casey, that is way more than we were expecting? We've seen some things at Home Depot for like $800, I think, or $1,000. Your response is what?
Well, normally I found out, like we talked about last time, because this is kind of the same conversation we had a couple weeks ago, but I found out what are they comparing it to? Like, why is this too expensive?
But what's your first response, Casey, when I say that to you? What's the first thing out of your mouth? Let's role play that. So I know we've discussed this, but I'm not sure we've implemented the changes. So what's the first thing out of your mouth when I say that? Is that something you're hearing in the home?
Yes.
Is that okay? So if somebody says, I'm the customer, you're the salesperson, I say, Casey, I got to tell you, that's way more money than we were expecting. What's the first thing you say?
Well, I go to my question and say, as far as for, if this product was, if you could get it today for $1, would you do it? And if they say yes, then I go more into detail as far as for trying to figure out why this is more expensive and, like, what are they comparing it to? And, like, just trying to figure out more of not the money aspect, but there's the reason behind why it's too expensive. So it really depends on, case by case.
So I think you're creating a lot of the obstacles you're experiencing, as most salespeople do, is that when you have a repetitive obstacle that keeps appearing demo after demo after demo, it's something you're doing or not doing that's creating the obstacle. And it all goes back to the whys. And this is the shortcut to selling, is when you can answer all the whys. When you've answered all the whys in their mind, they'll probably get good water. When you can answer, why doesn't the city take care of the problem? Why is there chlorine in the water? Why doesn't the soap get rinsed off my skin? Why do you give away soap? Why is the Pure Select necessary or better than what I'm buying now? Why are there so many chemicals in the cleaning products? Why does hard water cause problems? Why does hard water exist? Those are the essential whys. Why is the ecosystem the best value? That's the biggest one. Why eco? Why eco over everything? So some of the language that you can tie into your presentation is when you're describing the equipment. What we're offering, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is a complete state-of-the-art water treatment system that's designed and engineered to replace an old-fashioned water softener. The ecosystem is so far superior to anything on the market that it gives you ideal water for bathing and cleaning throughout your entire house, and then ideal water for drinking and cooking at the kitchen sink. It's designed to take care of today's challenges and hopefully all of the challenges you could face. We take out more ordinary water softeners in a month than a lot of people sell. We constantly have people trading in and upgrading the old-fashioned water softeners and the internet and the big box stuff because they find out that water can be better. The state-of-the-art ecosystem is so well engineered, and its entire goal, the only reason that you would get a system is ultimately to deliver consistently treated water day in and day out. And in order to do that, you have to have the right filtering bed, you have to have the right tank, you have to have the right control valve. And in so many ways, the inexpensive systems that are perceived to be less expensive actually cost more and do less. This is beyond a doubt the very best value in water treatment, which is why we've partnered with Home Depot, or which is why we've partnered with Costco. When you convert your home from a chemical home, one that's dependent on chemicals, to break down the water to allow the water to do a bare minimum of the work it's designed to do. There's two ways to do that. You either do it chemically by adding additional chemicals to break down the water hardness, or you can solve the problem before the water comes into the house, and we can give you this incredibly effective water that not only tastes great, is healthier for you, and we can get rid of all the chemicals in your house. Why buy unnecessary chemicals and be part of the pollution problem when you can be part of the pollution solution? See, everything that goes down your drain and into your laundry ends up ultimately in somebody's drinking water. There's very little new water being produced on the planet. It's just recycled laundry and toilet water and dishwater and dishwasher water, and all the chemicals we use, they come back. All the pharmaceuticals and pesticides and insecticides, some of those things just stay in the water. They're hard to get out. So by the time the water hits your house, it's raw, unconditioned water that literally has to be treated in some method. You either have to add chemicals or you have to cure the problem. We cure the problem before it comes into the house. And one of the greatest things about good water is you get rid of all those detergents and acids and chemicals and toxic chemicals. And if you Google lung cancer and cleaning products, you'll see thousands of pages of people and all the things you shouldn't be breathing or having your skin touch. So one of the greatest benefits of good water is you get to use good soap. And we take care of your soap needs just because we want to get you started on the right path. There's no reason to pay twice to treat your water. In other words, why treat it before it comes in the house and then do it again at the laundry? That'd be like taking blood pressure medicine when you lost enough weight to lower your blood pressure. There wouldn't be any reason to. Matter of fact, it's dangerous. So we allow you to get the chemicals out and have this incredible water that lets you use great soap that comes fragrance-free and dye-free. All these incredible Pure Select soaps, they're concentrates, which is how they give you good water. They can give you so much good soap to go with the good water because you use your own water to make fresh soap. You can add botanical oils to make fragrances if you desire them. Our solution saves dollars and makes sense. Our solution is just better. So, Casey, if you could somehow grasp all of that verbiage and assimilate that into your presentation or your close, you would see a world of difference in your income and the number of sales you make. And you would eliminate most of the objections you're hearing. It's the ability to put forth not only the features but the benefits. But if we know time and time and time again the same objection is going to arise, that the people are going to be saying that the system, why does it cost so much? And then you turn that little pebble into a roadblock. You know what the simplest answer to why does it cost that much is? The simplest thing to say is because it's worth it. And you will love it. It's literally the Rolls-Royce of water treatment systems, believe it or not, at Chevrolet prices.
So my question would be, if you do all that and you sell them on the quality, you sell them on this is the Rolls-Royce, this is top of the line, we have the best units, the longevity of the units, the warranties, that's why Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, that's why they all chose us. And then they go, okay, well, I understand this, but I still need to think about it. This isn't what we expected. We didn't know our water was that bad. We didn't know that this system did all this. We didn't know what we did. When they say, do we just need some time to think about it? What would be a good response to that? Because, like, when I'm building the quality, I mean, I always can improve, but I think I do a pretty good job myself of building up the system, the quality, the warranties, everything like that. But, again, it's like you do almost such a good job that, again, they're just shocked by how bad their water is or how, good our system could be or how long the warranty is that it comes up to be. Well, we just got to think about it. We didn't know we had this big of a problem. We have to look at our finances and, kind of see what we need to do. So how do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, to me, I think first I'd have to hear you talk about the system with the same type of word pictures, imagery, voice tonality, passion, and enthusiasm that I just did for you, and you would be shocked that a lot of what you're experiencing would just go away. One. So it's hard to say, okay, what? Number two, if somebody does after all of that say, I want to think about it, that's a buying statement, so I get excited. And my response always to I want to think about it is it's a buying statement. So mentally, instead of going, how do I overcome I want to think about it, which you're doing a great job of because you're overcoming those buying statements, most of the time. And that's why they don't buy, because you're overcoming a buying statement. And that's where we're missing the people is when we perceive, I want to think about it as as an obstacle, as a roadblock, as an objection, and then we fight to overcome it. We wear ourselves out overcoming when the people just said, yeah, we really like this. We want to buy one. We just need more information. That's all they're saying. So when somebody tells me they want to think about it, the first thing I think is I have an attitude of gratitude. Fantastic. I got to tell you, I hope one day you get one, because if you did, you would absolutely love it. You would love it. Let me ask you this. Out of all the things I've shown you, out of the fact that you're going to rinse all the detergent out of your towels, you're going to rinse the detergent out of your clothes, your shower's going to stay cleaner, you're not going to have to scrape soap scum, undissolved soap off your bathtub or your shower doors, your dishes come out cleaner, you can use good soap instead of detergents, you can cut way back on anything you use. Cleaning's going to be easier. What would you love the most if I just put this in your house tomorrow? You woke up and got to take your first shower in eco-treated water. What would you love the most? Casey, what would you love the most? What would you look forward to in having an ecosystem in your house? Is it because you've protected your family from the unknown? Because you're no longer relying on the screen at the end of your faucet to cure your problem? That's a little tiny screen I unscrew consistently. It's got little rocks and all sorts of debris in it, and that's your last line of defense from the raw, harsh tap water. The idea that you've rinsed the detergent out of your pillowcase so you're not sleeping untied. What would you love the most? Why would you even want an ecosystem?
The peace of mind of all of that, just knowing that I'm doing the best for my family, giving them clean water, protecting my kids, for any future health problems or dry skin, and just overall just health, and not just physical health, but just cleanliness of my own home.
Awesome. I got to tell you, it's going to deliver more to you than you ever expected. I believe in promising less and delivering more. There's no way I could explain to you all the benefits of good water, and I don't know what you're going to love in particular, but I will tell you this, you will love having eco water in your house. You'll love it. It's the greatest investment you can ever make. Literally saves you money over a 10-year period easily. It locks in so much for you. It's just an amazing appliance and would do more for your family than anything you've probably ever purchased. It's extraordinary. Might be more important than your air conditioner is having good water, your water conditioner. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go out and see where we're going to put this and make sure we can even put it in. And I would get them up and go look at the installation site, and then I would come back and I would just ask, so how do you guys want to take care of this? Do you want to put it on a credit card? Do you want to use our financing, which is what most people do because it's super simple? You can get this for less money than you're spending now. You can get it for zero down. How's your credit, by the way? Am I going to be able to get you financed? A lot of people want to charge it on their credit card, which is fine, but there's really no need to pay for it all up front. You can just pay for it like you're paying for it now if you want. Doesn't matter to me. But most people just take their anyway dollars. That's the money they're spending on detergents and chemicals and all that, and they take the money we save them, and they use that to make the monthly payment. It's less than you're spending on probably on cable TV and internet and Netflix and Amazon and, Hulu and everything else we download. Some people can cut soda out of their diet, which is some of the worst stuff we can put in our bodies. I know I'm cutting way back, and pay for it that way. So what works best for you? You want to see the monthly financing, or you want to use your credit card? And you assume the deal, and you write the deal. That it's really, for you, Casey, this is going to be hard because you've you've run a lot of demos, and you're going to have to forget the past, and you're going to have to go forward, and you're going to have to accept responsibility for the fact that you can improve and you need to get better, and you can't just blame the people. And until you stop blaming the people and the process, and you got to believe in the process, because Joey's running the same demos you are, the same leads you are, and he closes, consistently in the 50% level. So it's not the people, it's a product of the presentation. And the first step for everybody is to accept 100% of the responsibility for each presentation and ask yourself, what could I have done differently? And get out of the mode of going, well, it's not me, it's the fact that the price is too high, and blame the prospect. When we blame the prospect for saying, not understanding the value, or blame the prospect because they saw a cheaper system, that's not going to get us better. What gets us better is to, if we know that that's something we're doing to create that, is to work harder on our passion and enthusiasm on why the ecosystem's the best system. So, Casey, if I asked you, why is Eco better than Home Depot? What's your answer? And a lot of times they just want your confidence. So, Casey, how is this any different than going to Home Depot and getting a cheap RO for $300 and a water softener for $1,200? Why wouldn't I just do that?
Well, with getting a cheaper system, you're going to have cheaper results. You're going to have longer longevity. You're going to have more maintenance fees, and it's not going to do everything you want it to do. It will do it for a period of time, but again, it's not going to last you 20 years like our system. You're not going to have the peace of mind that if anything happens with it, we're going to be there to, cover it by the warranty and fix it and make sure everything's, what you paid for. So again, and you get what you pay for. If you go for a cheaper system, it's gonna do its job for a little bit, but again, it's not going to give you that longevity and that peace of mind that you're looking for. Because everybody wants a fix, nobody wants a Band-Aid. And going down to Home Depot buying a cheaper system is just putting a Band-Aid on this problem and not really having a solution for it.
So the challenge with your response is it really doesn't say anything. And in my mind, if somebody tells me that something's going to last 20 years as opposed to, I don't know how long the Home Depot system's going to last, but it's 3 times or 4 times more expensive in my mind, then I think, well, I'd rather buy the cheaper one and buy a new one every 5 years. So in order to answer that properly, a couple things need to occur. One, I always like to start every response with something along the lines, you know what, that's exactly what I thought. I even went in and talked to my owners about that, because the first couple of demos I ran, people are going, well, how come the Home Depot system? And I didn't know what I didn't know, so I just agreed with them. And then I was like, wow, I got to get educated, and I got to find a new job. So I appreciate the question. It's exactly what I thought. That changes the entire dynamics of the conversation, one. And then two, when you say you buy a cheaper system, you get cheaper results, what does that mean?
What was that again?
You made a statement. You said when you buy a cheaper system, you get cheaper results. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like the saying says, you buy. I mean, you get what you pay for. So again, if you go down to, I don't know, that's kind of a blindside, but if you go down and buy, a cheap screwdriver and, or a cheap hammer, it may last a little bit, but again, it's not going to last you for your whole career. If you want to go get a good set of tools, you're going to go spend money on a good set of name brand tools that's going to have, protection and peace of mind that if the tool breaks or anything like that, you have a warranty on it. But again, if you go down and buy a cheaper system, there's no peace of mind because, again, you have no warranties, no longevity of it, and it's going to, again, just like I said, it's going to be a Band-Aid to the problem and not a permanent fix. It's going to just be a temporary.
Okay, so let me explain to you the challenge with that answer. The screwdriver is a good analogy, but you didn't tie it together. Or the hammer is a good analogy. You didn't tie it together. So the question is why would you buy a hammer? Well, you want to be able to pound in nails or hit something. And what if you knew that the 32nd time you bought the hammer for $2 versus $32, that the head of the hammer was going to fly off and hit somebody? Well, that wouldn't be a good investment. Or what if you just knew that the handle was going to shatter and you were on the job site and you couldn't use the hammer, and now your hammer's worthless? That wouldn't be a good investment. You buy a hammer because you want to use it, and hopefully you can use it as long as you can. But the biggest key is if you could buy a hammer that was $32 that would allow you to hit a nail and go in, and the nail would go in with 2 hits instead of 12, it'd be worth it. Well, in the case of good water, it's not just a matter of longevity. That's the last reason in the world, or maybe one of the fewer reasons, that a lot of people would take action, because they're thinking, well, I don't care. I'm going to move. I'm going to die. I don't know what's going to happen. There'll be a better system come out. Why would I do that? So the key is that the quality of water we deliver from day one is superior in a multitude of ways to what you're getting. First of all, I'm not giving you a water softener. I'm giving you a water refiner that removes all the chlorine and chloramine from your entire house. The water softeners will remove 0 chlorine. In fact, the chlorine is what destroys the water softener. So our system is designed to remove the chlorine and chloramine. That keeps it from eradicating the mineral bed, which causes the entire softening process, the resin bed, which I can explain all that, but basically that's like the engine that drives the system. So when you buy an inexpensive system, what happens is you will never have the consistently treated water that you ultimately would like to pay for. Your water will start off at one level. It'll plateau in a week or two as all the stuff gets worked out of the pipe, and then it'll gradually get just a tiny, maybe 0.1% worse every day. And over a period of time, you'll no longer have treated water because the engine will have failed in your system. And a lot of that has to do with the chlorine in your water. And a lot of people get rid of their water softeners, one, because they don't work consistently, which means that they're inadequate and you don't ever get what you pay for. Because if you have hard water one day on the cold side and you don't have it the next day, it contaminates the hot side because your water heater is constantly refilling. It doesn't just drain and empty. So when your water heater gets contaminated with the harsh tap water, then you never get consistently treated water. But the biggest advantage to the Eco are 3 things. 1, we will give you consistently treated 0 soft water for an extended period of time. 2, it does it more efficiently than any other system on the market. It cleans itself more thoroughly, and it has a mixed mineral bed that is designed to take out a multitude of chemicals, particularly the chlorine and chloramine, which your skin is your biggest organ. And when you bathe in all that stuff, it's probably not all that good for you. When you breathe the chlorine, it's probably not all that good for you. We know it doesn't taste good. We also know it dries out your skin. So what we deliver is designed and engineered to replace a water softener, and I thought the same thing until I heard something similar to this, and then I realized, wow, I'm doing people a favor, and in the long run, my system's less expensive than the other one, but forget money, because money doesn't matter. This would be like putting an air conditioner in your house that only worked Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. How happy would you be when it's 110 degrees outside, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and your air conditioner only works 4 days a week? Well, you'd probably replace your air conditioner. And what if you could put an air conditioner in that would also clean your air and take out and do way more than just take humidity out and make it colder in your house? What if it was actually taking all the floating stuff in the air and everything out, the stuff you can't see? Well, that's what our water conditioner does. It works 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and it removes way more than just the stuff you can see here in this precipitation tube. It removes the stuff you can see and the stuff you can't see. And the results are incredible. You see a difference there, Casey?
Yeah.
So you got a lot to work on. But we're going to start doing 1-hour Zoom calls on Thursdays and Tuesdays, and we're going to work all through this. We got to get going because right now, we need more sales, and we need them to happen consistently. So Elaine has coerced me into doing calls for you guys, more Zoom, more interactive, and they're going to be painful at first, but they're going to be beneficial. So everybody needs to have their cameras on, and we're going to go through this stuff until everybody can get it. So you can look forward to that. Meanwhile, I hope this call helped. I've run a little long, so I got to go because I got another call here in 5 minutes. Thanks, guys.